finally your recap once again with me, Gunnerside, and my co-host, Hammersep.
Hello.
So, as everyone probably knows, we didn't manage to do a recap last week because we have been extraordinarily busy. I hope no one minds that too much, but worry not, that shouldn't be happening too often. Ideally, that's the only time that happens, so from now on, continuing doing the recaps on Thursdays. Um, we have changed some things around. This is the first season we're doing recaps, so we're seeing what works and what doesn't. So, yeah, that should be interesting. We don't have the fancy graphics for some of the teams anymore because those took a long, long time to do. So we're just gonna take a look at the teams in game. But first, let us take a look at last week's matchups. And see if anything surprising happened there. See what the results ended up being. Now, it has been like 2 weeks since the recap, so I'm not as up to date as I would love to be with this div. So I apologize about that. But yeah, everything should be going more smoothly from now on. So first up, we do have Horror All Stars versus ASCII Rats. Thank you to those that told me it was ASCII Rats. So yeah, we do have a 2-1 result, which I don't think we're too shocked about that because we did predict Missa and his Rats to do very well this season. Let us take a look. Because also, another thing is that I'm not watching each one of these games individually, because it turns out that spending like 10 hours a week watching replays is not the most interesting thing I could do with my time. So it'll also be impossible for me to know when a very interesting play happens, but we still really want to keep the whole play of the week going. So if something happens in your game, something that wins or maybe even loses you the game, depending on perspective, do send me a PM on Discord, and I'll take a look at the replay and see if it's worthy of being in our glorious recap. So, back to the game at hand, Horror All Stars versus ASCII Rats. Taking a look at the statistics, we have very similar ball possession, with also very similar injuries. So I guess those
And also
rats,
similar MVP.
yeah, with basically useless. Oh wow, yeah, 10 out of 6 on both of them on linemen. It's not great, but it seems like the AV7 held up, which is relatively rare. But when it happened, rats are very hard to beat. 11 to 9 armor breaks there. I mean, you're in trouble when rats broke about as much as a necro team. So I mean, rats are so hard to beat when they don't break armor, right?
Yeah, especially with this triple Gutter combo.
Yeah, it's
And
it's
if you can't remove one of them, they can do basically what they want.
yep. Taking a look, yeah. Although, well, the armor was relatively in favor of her All Stars, but in terms of injuries, that was sort of unfortunate. Um, Anything else in particular? Well, the rats actually didn't manage to dodge as well. Well, I guess that's fine. 83% is a 2 plus dodge, so 78 is a little bit below average, but still. All in all, looks like the rats managed to not break, basically stay evil on removals, and then, life is good.
Yeah.
Next, we do have the other rat team. This is Not for the Cat, going 2-2 with the Eldritch Ambrosia runners, Underworld. This time, the rat armor did not hold up as well as it did for Missa there. You wouldn't really expect that either with this Mighty Blow Claw piling on Blitzer, who probably did some serious work here. This is 3 removals for the rats versus, well, 3 removals for the Eldritch Ambrosia runners here. So, again, very similar removals, which is, well, it's kind of unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah, and also the removals on Underworld were permanent, so minus movement on the Goblin, minus LG on the Blitzer.
Mm-hmm.
And the Goblin was 15 SPP or is 15 SPP, so you don't really want that.
We do also see a huge difference in ball position, so I'm guessing the Rats went for more of a scoring fast kind of game, and we ended up with a 2-2 grind, as the Underworld managed to counterscore. Alright, we do have only Foals and Hobgoblins next, which is a Dwarf team, versus 4-stunned Dwarf Teknik, which I keep thinking is a Dwarf team, but it's Dark Elves. 0-2 towards the Dwarfs there. Somewhat unfortunate, as 5 armor breaks versus Dark Elves is not stellar, is it?
Yeah, also the Dark Elves lost the Blitzer.
Right.
Level 2 Blitzer.
Really does seem like the what usually you would consider the more squishy teams are having a good time with their armor. 3 passes there, getting some vanity passes, and relatively similar ball position too. 40 blocks to 33 blocks. Usually you don't see elves blocking even close to as many players as the Chorfs there. Chorfs getting 7 KOs, 1 kill versus the only 1 injury for the Dark Elves there. Showing that Dark Elves don't need an entire team to score and win 2-0. So yeah, all in all, looks like a solid game.
And good MVPs on
Great,
both
and
sides.
I was about to say that that is a fantastic MVP. We'll have to take a look later to see if that was a double or not. Then we do have Breaknec Rampage versus Mazdamundis Heirs, 2-1 for the Lizardman versus the. I just realized I forgot to turn off the in-game music. Oh well. Poor MVPs for the Necromantic here. I mean, the second this zombie gets another level, you sack him, because you don't want a level 4 dirty player, especially not a zombie one.
Probably.
Although you did get a great MVP for the Lizardman there. Similar in terms of armor breaks, in terms of removals, I think the Lizardmen were really struggling here. They got out-removed quite a bit. But they did manage to get some work done either way, because they won after all.
Yeah, the Necro had the Mighty Blow Claw Wolf, but apparently it wasn't enough.
Yep. Well, 50% dodge ratio for the Necromantic there. Not the greatest dice I've seen in my life, but yeah. Then we have 2 themed codes versus the Essinge Howlers. This is Wood Elves, which is always nice to see them winning, versus the Orcs here.
A crazy game with lots of casualties.
Yeah, oh Jesus, 26 armor breaks. He broke armor 26 times versus the Elves. I just realized I was reading this wrong.
So I opened REBBL.net and checking the matchups there, and the dev on the Orc side was a level 3 block guard Black Orc.
Oh Jesus.
Which sucks. And the
didn't the Woodies get a agi bust?
Yeah, on the Mighty Blow Tackle War Dancer and a movement bust on the Agi 5 thrower with Sure Hands and Dodge.
Oof, that is.
Who also, yeah, you can see it actually on the MVP screen.
We'll be taking a closer look at more of the injuries later when we take a look at the teams. But yeah, that's interesting to note. This is a game where, well, maybe some basing was going on. There were so many armor breaks, but the Widow still managed to pull it off. With actually more ball possession than the Orcs, so I'm guessing a couple of sacks going on here. Not sure if the Orcs have any sure hands.
It's actually... do we have the thrower? Give me a second. Yes, I have the thrower. Yeah. It's actually interesting. I mean, it's not rare that Woodell score 3 times, but it's actually rare that Orcs can counter score 2 times as well in one game.
It's true. And looks like the Woodies also had a wizard there, so I'm sure that was nice. Couple of inducements. Anywho, we do have the Hogwarts Exiles winning 2-1 versus the Nagarythe Nightstalkers. That's Underworld versus Dark Elves. Oh, boomer MVP there. Fun to see Boomer in action. Relatively similar armor breaks. Probably because this Underworld team has a pretty impressive killer, if I remember correctly.
They have a Claw Mighty Blow Checker.
Yeah. 62% ball possession for the Underworld here. Yeah, that's the Underworld. So they held on to the ball a lot more than the Dark Elves, who probably... Whoops, I just went out of that. Who probably tried to go for the quick score, 2 or 3 turn, where after the Underworld quickly, counter scored and 2-1 ground them.
And guess who died for the Dark Elves? An
Is it the
edgy
Witch?
5 Blitzer.
Oh. That's also really bad.
This was a rough week in terms of casualties.
Yeah, and I think the 2 weeks ago was 2, so there's been a lot of death.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the teams in a second.
Yeah, me too, actually. Relatively similar in, removals, except that the Dark Elves had a lot more KOs than permers. So yeah. Then the last game, we have 1-1, Smart Models. That's the Chores versus the Dwarfs. Exact same armor breaks here. I guess Claw is fake, as everyone knows. In terms of removals...
But also the Hobgoblins being AV7.
Yeah, that's true.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. In terms of injuries, though, you can see the Dwarves notably less removals than the Chorfs here. So I guess Claw is maybe not fake after all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a third draw for the Dwarfs in a row. They were
Really?
At 0-3-0, yeah.
Oh, that's rough. Well, it could be worse. It could be 0-0-3.
That's true.
So, now, long waited, we take a look at the development from the different teams as I bring up REBBL.net so I can actually see what the hell happened. So, Misa, there's also so many pending levels, by the way, which is like not fantastic, I guess, but sure. So, week 2, Misa and his ASCII Rats in terms of development, nothing great. I think an MNG on Cake and Rats, if I'm not crazy.
If there's an MNG, he fired it because I don't see a missing player in the client.
Yeah, that was week 2 though, and we're in week 4 now, so it would have been gone anyways. But I think last week is where the development kind of happened. Save the Rat apparently has guard and wrestle, which I... No, never mind. And I'm just blind. We do have a level on ASCII and Anonymous Mouse. Anonymous probably, isn't it?
Anonymous, yeah.
But we have no idea what they are because pending levels are fun.
I mean, I think ASCII probably, if it's normal, it's going probably dirty player to open up the fallen game on the double guard. But I'm actually curious on what the guard runner is getting because like he has everything he needs in terms of guard runner roles, so I'm really curious to see what he's going for the fourth one.
Yeah, me too. He might be going for maybe I mean, that's probably why it's a pending level, right? Might be going for a more like, I don't know, jack of all trades gutter runner. You know, he has a carrier, he has a one turner, he has a stripper.
And stuff like that, like an annoying piece.
Or maybe he wants redundancy, so he builds, another, stripper because those tend to die.
Yeah, but he has block now, and you want wrestle.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm blind apparently. So yeah, will be interesting to see what he gets there.
Yeah, but the team is still looking pretty good.
Oh yeah, I mean, 3 weeks in, and really no damage, like, kind of. Actually, no damage at all, except for maybe some MNGs, but no damage on the few pieces that matter. Like, there's 4 pieces on this team, which I think basically make up this entire team. Like, as soon as one of them dies, this team will go down notably in terms of effectiveness.
I would even say only the gutter runners. If the Stormworm and the Blitzer would die, it would suck, but
Yeah,
you could still pull off the Skaven bullshit.
Yeah, it doesn't have Claw, so it's not a huge loss.
Yeah.
Let us take a look at Eldritch Ambrosia runners as I try to figure out frantically what their development has been. Looks like a level on Snusk Head Team Sampler. Going for a stand firm there, which is, I think it's a good choice, except that, well, it's really between stand firm and tentacles, isn't it?
Yeah, and I would have gone for tentacles because standing firm is usually people want to dodge away from you and not
Yeah.
blitz you away, and especially against with him having claw, mighty blow, and block, he is willing to counter block if people stick near him, which is more likely with tentacles, I'd say.
Yep. Though stand firm, of course, has its uses. Tentacles would have helped probably a lot in his will help a lot in his game versus ASCII Rats. But
I mean, stand firm is not bad. It's pretty good, but I think tentacles slightly better, but you can get it in either direction. You can get stand firm now, tentacles later, or the other way around.
yeah, I think stand firm is more oriented towards anti-bash, while tentacles is more of an anti-agi kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I guess he's more worried about the bash teams and not the agi teams, which I can understand. Right, and then another level on Hornton, who is agi busted, but has tackle, which is nice. He already had tackle on his other killer, so I'm not entirely sure how much that accomplishes. I mean, guard would have probably been very nice too there, but tackle is fine.
I think you build. I'm not like Underworld Pro, but I think you build both your blitzers pretty much as a killer because with Underworld you need to get the injury game going for
Yeah.
you.
Actually, I just realized because Wilpox leveled in week 3. So he got the Hornton level before the Wilpox level, which is probably why he went tackle. He probably went tackle on Hornton, thinking, I don't have any
for the last
tackle.
matchup.
And then he got a level on Wilpox. So he took tackle.
That might be true indeed.
That's what happened to me actually with my team. Took tackle on basically a rookie blitzer.
Yeah, he was facing the Skaven. Yeah, that might be true.
So, yeah, that's pretty good then. Does he have a leader? He doesn't yet. So he's still stuck on 2 rerolls. He has a bunch of money in the bank, so he could buy another reroll, but I think he might be waiting for a leader on Firsten. Not sure.
Yeah, I think yes, Underworld have expensive rerolls, so that's worth it. And he's only 3 SPP away, like 1 touchdown or so many 2 passes.
Also, plottingly sneaky one, leveled 2. He got block, which is a double, which is very nice, but he also got AV busted. Well, that's nice. Such is life. Connivingly shifty one. He got an MA bust.
Yeah.
Very well, very well. Let us move on to Forest and Dwarf Teknik. El Dudorino's Dark Elf team looking
pretty thin.
Yeah, I was about to say thin. Let us take a look at the development. Look, oh god, he suffered 2 deaths, although 1 on a loner and 1 of the plus strength blitzer.
Oh.
Yeah, so that probably sucks, although could be worse, right? Because he only had strength, so it's not a huge loss, but he is a nice project piece. Bracket leveled, he gets wrestle, which is nice.
Yeah, developing second now.
Yep. Although, yeah, that's nice.
I mean, this team is looking like the regular Dark Elf team or Elf team with like your positional somewhat intact and then playing with loners who you can put on the line, and they're still looking good. But maybe compared to the other teams, will be a tough one for sure.
Yep. And then lastly, we have John Montana getting a throw there. He's taking the passing Dark Elf route instead of the running route, I guess. Throw is nice. I see a lot of people going like things like
Yep.
sometimes Nerves of Steel actually to use Dump Off, but Dump Off is garbage. So
Yeah. With the runner, you have to decide. Most people go leader and then like blodge.
leader blodge.
But if you start going past and maybe Nurse of Steel, there's no reason in getting dodge or block, because if you wanted to skill the stuff to give the ball away, you don't want to skill stuff to keep the ball in your hand, basically.
Yep. So it will be interesting to see how well this team does. Let's hope he doesn't get murdered too much. Was that all of the development? No, that was only the week 2 development. This is the week 3 development I have in front of me now. Probably not. Oh yeah, his Blodge Blitzer died. Well, rip. Onwards to Mazdamundis Heirs. Let us take a look at the development here. It is sort of nice to be able to do 2 weeks at once, because there's plenty of development, as REBBL apparently doesn't want to load for me, which is always nice. Hold up. There we go. Week 2. We see a bunch of badly hurts, so nothing in week 2. Week 3, we see a movement bust on the Saurus, which is... well, it sucks, but...
especially annoying because it's on your blitzing type of tackle and mighty blow. You wouldn't mind too much it being on a guard piece.
Yeah, so that is really quite unfortunate, although it could be worse, because they do start with MA6, which is probably one of the highest out of all the Strength 4 pieces in the game. So you basically have a Chaos Warrior here. That's still good.
Yeah. Except for the IG.
Yeah, but Hugh really, gets Chaos Warriors for the agility, right? Like, maybe they'll help out once in a blue moon, but let's be honest here. Then Legion the Skink died. Poor Skink. I don't think he'll be missed.
Have levels?
Nope. 0 levels.
That's fine. He has 150k to replace missing skinks if he wants to.
Right.
Still being in a good spot. He's facing...
We'll take...
yeah, we'll take a look later, but... oh yeah, it's Underworld. He will be missing the tackle mighty blow.
Oh no.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that really is. Although, yeah, no development in like 2 games isn't a huge deal when his team looks as solid as it really does now.
Yeah, especially all Soros being close to level. Like pretty much everyone can level in 1 or 2 games.
Yep. So next up we do have Essinge Howlers. And I have to stop saying next up, because I'm getting a weird feeling of deja vu. Essinge Howlers, they got a bunch of badly hurts in week 2, not much else. And in week 3, I think we can see what happened in week 3, because he has a pending level. Let me take a quick look. Oh god.
It's still pending.
He got 2 levels, and his block guard orc died, as you said, which is really unfortunate. Like that was one of his better black orcs that just kicked the bucket, and suddenly his black orcs are looking very sad. He has 1 great black orc, 1 decent black orc, and the other 2 are rookies, which is just unfortunate.
But at least he was able to buy him back. I would have liked Stand Firm instead of Mighty Blow on the Black Orc, because you usually want Mighty Blow on your Blitzers and like guard Stand Firm on your Black Orcs. And they usually don't end in base contact anyways, and you blitz with your Blitzers, so I think you get more value out of Stand Firm than Mighty Blow on the Black Orcs, not on the Blitzers.
Yeah, and he did take Stand Firm on Bluntman.
Yeah,
which is that's good. Frenzy. So he doesn't get counter-surfed, which is a great choice. Then the pending level on Chronic. I don't know. Could that be a double? On double, you take jump up instantly, don't you?
Because he already has a killer, there is a merit to go for dodge, to just stay on your feet and get the Stand Firm next. But he could also long term. I mean, his other blitzer is niggled, so it's not not like a bad idea to develop another killer already.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe that's what he's on the fence about. If it's normals, like stand firm, maybe.
Yeah, stand firm or tackle, depending on his next matchup.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. What is his next matchup? This is Essinge Howlers. He is up against Missa. ASCII Rats.
So yeah, I would go tackle.
Yep. Although you usually don't want to, spend too many levels just to counter, the next team you're facing, because, to win a
Yeah, but in this division you have multiple elves, underworld, two red teams, so I think you can get away with more than one tackle.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he picks. That's Essinge Howlers over and Nagarythe Nightstalkers with no pending levels. Good job. Nagarythe Nightstalkers. Let's take a look at the development here. Week 2, we do have, I think, an MNG on the Executioner, so he's fine. And then a badly hurt on a Learner, so whatever. And Widowmaker got a level. She got Tackle. Great choice.
Yep.
I don't see many other options there, realistically. I mean, if you roll doubles, then probably piling on, right? But
Yeah, I would have also took
tackle is
tackle
like
there. He has already fought tackle, which will help him out a lot in this division, especially on the sidestep pieces.
Yeah. All right, that's week 2, and week 3, probably some damage, as you can see.
I think this wasn't the team where the AG5 Blitzer died.
I think you might be right. Yes, the AG5 Dodge Blitzer died. Misery 2.
Yeah.
He's probably feeling real miserable about now.
And an MNG on the AG5, so they will suck missing them next week.
Yep, Punisher got a level. He got Sidestep. Good choice. I like it.
Yeah, and he, as I said, you can see the typical, like the standard runner for most teams, just taking leader and blood.
Yep. Yeah, nice. He keeps going with the trend of going blood sidestep on most people, probably diving tackle next. Seems like a good anti-health strategy, which I hate. Right. I'm trying to not have this be super long, even though, yes, it's 2 weeks we're doing. Right. Heavy Hitters version 2.0.
The Eternal Draw team.
In terms of development, we do see a level on Rick Kulger Troll. Piling on.
Got piling on, yeah.
Nice. Kill smash the rat things. Piling on is solid.
Looking so good and annoying to play against.
Yep, and they keep drawing, which is even more annoying. Week 3 development.
With draws, it's tough to.
Means dwarves.
If you can't prevent the score, it's tough to score twice yourself. If you don't remove like half the team.
Belland got, I guess, an Agi bust, and Draz got an MNG. No, he just got injured, never mind. Vardal got a level. Fend. I mean, keeps him from getting piled on. He has so many levels already, so I guess.
Yeah, I like Fend. Protects him against piling on, limits the amount of blocking there's against you with Frenzy.
I mean, kickoff return wouldn't really do much because of MA7, so.
Yeah, and especially your ball carrier is usually in a cage or something, and if they manage to get a block, you can fend away, and they usually can't follow up because they're attacked by your other like cage corners or something.
Yeah, solid choice. Smart models, Aldar, your favorite team here. Not sponsored by Eldar. We do see absolutely nothing. Week 2 at least. Let's hope week 3 is more exciting in terms of development. Well, we got a level on Fernand Freud. He gets Claw, because of course he does.
Yeah, like following the trend of the division, getting all the doubles and all the stats.
Yep. Only thing that would be even more typical of this division is apparently having one of your positional skilled. because we're really bloody around here. Just needs Mighty Blow next, and he'll be a terror in the night.
Oh, didn't see the Dauntless on the Blitzer, on the Chaos Dwarf. Not sure if I do agree, because if you want to blitz a high strength piece, you can just blitz with your Bull Centaur, and you might rather want to go like something like Even Guard, Stand Firm, or Juggernaut.
Yeah, that's your killer, right? So you want it to kill things, and the
Yeah.
bigger things it kills, the better.
Yeah, but he doesn't have Claw, and if you want to
That's true,
make
actually.
a big thing, you just use your Bull Centaur and assist maybe with one of your 4 guards. But Aldo's a better Chaos Dwarf coach than I am, so gotta
And
trust him
I
here.
never played Chaos Dwarfs. Ever. So that shows how much knowledge I have about the subjects. Hogwarts Exiles. Never played Underworld either, so don't listen to me. Did he get, like... Was he always... Yeah, he probably always was that ridiculous, that Skaven thrower.
Yeah, he was. Like, either one startup. I actually saw the stream. Who did they play against? Against Nagarythe, right? I'm not sure if it was this or last week, but people are actually joking about if he rolls double 10, if you go for the armor up just to get all green.
Oh, that's great. You don't. You don't. Do not do that. We'll respect you for doing it, but it's not a good idea. Other than that, in the 2 weeks, he got like a grand total of 0 development. He got a bunch of SPP. No levels,
Yeah.
no deaths, which is more important, so...
But multiple players close to level. His Claw Mighty Blow Blitzer is 3 SVP away from leveling. His 1 thrower is 2 SVP away. And 2 of his Gobos are only a touchdown away.
Do you want to give them that touchdown though? Get them even more bloaty?
I mean, you usually don't go on your turn, but especially with 2 heads, they are most often the recovering pieces. So they tend to get some touchdowns sometimes if you can stack the ball.
So...
Not saying you want to give it on them, but it happens more often.
You don't go out of your way to give them touchdowns. Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you try not to give it, but...
Right, this is the 2 thin coats. This team, poor team. I mean, look at it, man. This makes me sad. Let's take a look at what happened in week 2. Well...
Oh, Alle just pinging me in our clan channel and asking about recap.
Hilarious. Week 2 actually went fine for them. No, deaths, but 2 levels. One on Wild Rider Red, which was this guy, Sidestep. I like it. Yeah, I think that's really quite solid. Probably getting Sidestep next.
I actually think he's not looking too bad. He has like 1 MG catcher, the other one is niggled, but he has 200k to replace them, and he can get away with the edgy bust on your killing piece because he doesn't need to leap very often or at all.
It's true.
And if he's based, you're fine with that because you're getting a free Mighty Blow hit most often.
Yeah, so, all in all...
He can recover.
He was somewhat lucky on the player he did get the strength edgy bust on. Though, lineman. Although the movement bust kind of sucks on his carrier, because you don't ever want your carrier to be slower than literally the entire rest of your team except for the tree.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see what he does with that. He's probably keeping it around because it's Blood Sure Hands Agi, even though he's gonna have to plan around that player more. So yeah, he got right levels. Wild Rider Red, Sidestep, I like it, and Flash gets Yellow, got Wrestle, which is weird. Is it weird?
Yeah, it is weird indeed because you have the Ward answer to be the sacker.
It doesn't have
And
wrestle though.
Yeah, but even then, I don't know. I mean, when I play humans, I also use my movement 8 strength 2 catcher as a stacker, but that's because I lack a better alternative, and I think the War Dancer is a better alternative. And I think you want to give block on all the catchers just to let them stay on their feet, but
Well, the thing is though, right?
I see the point.
Later on at higher TVs, you know, higher divs, etc., everyone has large sure hands carriers. That's just life, right? So at that point, you have to 3+ leap in, and then it's a 5+ to strip the ball if you get a 1 die. If you're lucky enough to get a 1 die, it's a 5+ 3+, which sucks. But if you take this catcher, turn him into a kind of like long-term player, you give him wrestle, he already has dodge. You give him tackle, you give him strip ball, you give him dauntless, you give him leap. That's a bunch of levels, I'll be honest. But maybe one day he can become a great sacker.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I mean, there is a point, as I said, and I'm also using my human catchers the same way. And those are good pieces because even if you have wrestle, tackle, strip ball, you can even roll red dice and have a fairly good chance at sacking the ball.
yeah, I mean a red dice when you have wrestle, tackle, strip ball is basically a 2+ to strip the ball. Just don't roll skulls and you're good.
Yeah.
In theory, but well, I'm not gonna go into too much detail here. Alright, that's the week. That's all the development for the toothing coats. Sucks about the perms, but this team has, you know, plenty to, you know, still go on.
Mm-hmm.
We're nearing the 4 last teams here. Breaknec Rampage. This is. Let me take a look at the development. Week 2 here. We have Breaknec Rampage. We have nothing. You actually, Otto Sai got a level. He is now Wrestle. So that's not great. You now have a Wrestle. You now have an 80k dirty player.
Yeah, but wrestle's fine because like wrestler and fender both skills can use with 30 players because if someone blocks you, gets them both down, you wrestle them down and just stand up and fall them again. Same as fend, giving you the opportunity to like be free to move around and fall somewhere else. But you probably want to sack him at the next level.
Well, yeah, at the next level, like totally. But then again, it's his only 30 player. So, and he's like pretty close to his next level too, which is the most insane part. He's like 6. He's 2 touchdowns away.
He's not scoring.
Perhaps not. Yeah. As I try to find the week 3 development, we see Thesaurus. No development. So yeah, congrats. In 2 weeks, you got wrestle on your zombie. I'm sure you're over the moon.
Yeah,
Still
probably
looking
his
good.
next game, his strength 4 wolf will level because he's only needing 1 injury and he's got the mighty blow. And his movement 9 wolf also needs a touchdown and a vanity pass to go.
Yeah, his core players are very close to getting a bunch of levels. I mean, Flesh Golem 1 SPP away. Then his white is another 1 SPP away. Looking good.
Indeed.
Only Foals and Hobgoblins. Or is it Fowls? You know, I'm gonna go with Foals.
Yeah, it should be.
Like, maybe it's a, I don't know, spelling mistake. Who knows?
3 strength up.
Let's take a look. We do have week 2. We had Tabak Fastfoot. I think he took a MNG. Unless I'm crazy. Yeah, he probably did because he has no perms.
Yeah, it's an MG because he has no perms yet.
And then other than that, no week 2 development. Week 3 we do have REBBL, not net, please, not now. A level on Bardak Burnt Soul. These names. You got grab.
Yeah, that's sensible. Would have probably picked the same.
Yeah, set up better fouls, and he kind of has, you know, the three skills you really want on a Chorf blocker, as long as you don't get doubles, which is, you know, guard, might well stand firm. I don't know, maybe piling on would have been like good too, but then again, you don't want half your team lying on the ground.
Yeah, and with three dirty players, you probably like you can always go first turn, block LOS blocks, put one back to your side, and just foul.
Yep. So that's solid. This team doesn't need very much more. Well, it kind of wants development, but it doesn't really need it. He has, you know, the killer. Kind of wants piling on that, and then he has some sort of rookie chores, but he's in a good spot.
Yeah, now he's at a spot where the development of his last two chalk blockers will take exponentially longer because after the other ones being developed, you tend to blitz and block with them and just move the level 2 ones just with the guard into assist, but they never really get to block stuff and they also don't score, so they only pretty much get SPP from MVPs or maybe random blocks when someone bases them, but it's really tough at this stage to develop the low level blockers.
Right. 2 rerolls, by the way. What's up with people just having 2 rerolls in this div?
Yeah, especially, and he has 150k.
Is this his clever ploy to keep TV down?
I don't. Yeah, maybe because he's quite high up. I think we talked already, or like 2 weeks about the topic as well. And hence he had the money to buy the reroll and apparently didn't. And it might actually be because of that, because he's so high TV, doesn't want to give away wizards or something.
Right.
But I think you want 3 rerolls, even being that far up in TV, because yeah, you need it. You have sometimes you want to pick up with Hobgoblins, or you need to reroll the Claw Mighty Blow hit, something like that.
Yep. By the way, guys, when you see us being puzzled about something you did with your team, do feel free to send us messages to clarify things, and we'll try and get that into the next recap. Second to last team, not for the cat number 1. Development, we do see, well, nothing, because REBBL.net isn't working again. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. That is death. Well, actually, most of them are badly hurt. He lost Licked Larry, Wrestle Lineman. And then Dicey Daniel, I think, just got an injury, so he's actually fine.
Yeah, he's like ready to go.
Yep. Sweet. Let's see if week 3 brought with it more excitement. This is not for cat number 1. Yeah, actually, we did see
MNG
2 levels.
MNG
on value. Level on 9999% injury proof. Number 2, my guy. He gets wrestle, which is sort of odd.
Yeah,
it's
he
odd,
already
right?
has the sacking piece.
Yeah, he basically has 2 sackers.
Basically has 2, yeah. Would have picked block as well.
I would have maybe even gone for like sidestep sprint. Wouldn't have evaded it.
I think like you want one more piece to be the ball recovery with 2 heads and sure hands, something like that, and big hands maybe later. So that's the one that would want to have blocked then.
Yeah. I don't know. It's odd seeing Wrestle there. Maybe he's, you know, he knows that Skaven Gutrunner sackers aren't long for this world. He's already
So he used 3 of them.
Yep. That's kind of hilarious. Whilst Good Willie gets a level. Is that safe throw? Yeah, it is safe throw. Really going for the passing game here. Kind of understandable given strong arm accurate.
Yeah, would have gone the same.
This is basically a high elf thrower who didn't roll doubles. Yeah, I mean, I'm an IF coach. I love passing. I like seeing, you know, the ball fly and my opponents cry. Not sure how well the passing game will work out for the Skaven. Might even work out better than for High Elves. Who knows? He does have a catch piece to, you know, synergize with that. Yeah. You know, actually, I like going for the passing game because AV6 means you really don't want to get him blocked ever at all. So just staying in the backfield for 7 turns and then scoring on turn 8 by like running forward, doing the 3+ long bomb. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's also helping out with 1 and 2 turns.
Yep, solid. Even though he doesn't really have a well, he kind of has the sidestep guy, but
I mean, any gutter runner can catch the ball and run with it.
yeah. Do you even one turn on the sidestep guy, or do you go for the 2 heads?
I think for the sidestep, because he has catch, he has sidestep, so you can save a lot of rolls using him, and you don't need as much pushes, etc. So I think you go with him because there's no point putting in someone else and fading up the blocks and don't get him in range.
Yeah. All right, solid. Next team, we last team actually, Horror All Stars. Let's take a look at the development of this team. Week 2, we have it was against the Saurus. We see an Agi bust on Dr. William Hare. It's a pity, but I guess it could be worse. Even though that's not great. And we see a level on Frankenfurther, which is fantastic, as getting a block on that strength 5 piece is huge.
Yeah, that was big.
Jason Voorhees, white, probably gets guard. No, Mighty Blow. Going for that damage route, maybe get him in, giving in faster to that next level. Yeah, nice. Week 3 development. We do see um, Deadite, another zombie, getting a level there. He gets 30 player, which is nice. No, actually, he has 2 players called Deadite, which is like real sad. 3 players called Deadite. Why? Why are you the way that you are, Demiurge? Well, the third Deadite that actually got a level, he got Wrestle, which is solid. I like Wrestle on zombies a lot because it means they can sort of punch above their weight class. Because you can, end up, wrestling down a Chaos Warrior with Block, Claw piling on. And then you're very happy because you just, traded almost a 60k piece for what is like 150k piece, probably more. Yeah, I like Wrestle. Maybe needs a bit more dirty player in case he loses his current dirty player or gets sent off. He sort of want to keep doing the fouling game, but then again he's only on 12 players. So do you want to foul that much? Probably not. He's in a solid place. Are you still here? Looks like Armorsep disconnected. Why does this keep happening? Oh, he's messaging me now. Oh, here we go. Hold up, guys. Technical difficulties. I apologize. You did cut off, and I can't reconnect. Alright, hold up. This is great. Hello?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, fantastic. Here it
Don't know
goes.
what happened, but Discord fucked up.
I talked about... What did I talk about? The memory of a goldfish. Why wrestle is good on zombies. It just is. Right. So let's take a look at the next week's matches. And I have some surprises for you guys. Isn't it beautiful? So yeah, we have finally we can see the teams side by side, so we can actually see better who has the best chance of winning. That was a coherent sentence, I think. Are you still here? Kidding me?
Hmm?
Oh, you're still here. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I was like, are you still here? And then you didn't answer, so I was sure you cut out again. Anywho, Horror All-Star versus 4-stunned Dwarf Teknik. This is, it's an interesting one. 4-stunned Dwarf Teknik is, they just lost some of their better players, and Horror All-Stars basically just gained some stuff, right? I think this will be a close match, because even though Horror All-Stars has stuff like Tackle and, the Strength 4 guy, he doesn't really have, Claw Might Blow. He doesn't have a proper, killer, so to speak. Whilst the Witch Elf, which 4-stunned Dwarf Teknik has, is as close to a killer as you're going to get with Dark Elves.
Yeah, but I would actually put my money on the Necro.
Okay.
Because, like, the Witch... also, there probably won't be inducements, because the Necro are 90k up, and after losing positioners, I don't think they want to spend money on scumming a bribe or something. Maybe one babe, but that's it. And using the Witch, piling on with Dirty Player on the Necro is really risky, and the Witch is like the half the team. And even if she's not piling on, she has to get close, and he has Mighty Blow and Tackle, and he really has to take care of the Witch and like don't overextend with her, but he still has to use her because she's like most of the team.
Yeah, you're in an awkward situation really, because you want to use the Witch to its full potential because that's, as you said, half of its team. But then again, I'm pretty sure this Necro coach will Dirty Player that Witch with like no assists.
Yeah.
Right. Also, the Necro coach gets a babe, unless he scums something, because the Dark Elves only have 9 players. Unless I'm crazy, 5, 6, 7, no, 8 players, 8 players.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
So 3 times 70 is 210. So their actual TV is like 1620. So actually, Horror Stars can get a babe.
Wizard.
No, a bribe. He can scum a wizard or just go for a bribe.
And I would team out for both, because bribe makes using a witch even scarier. But a wizard against the ball carrier, especially with dump off, which you don't really want to blitz because you might end up in a spot where you can't recover the ball, might be worth it getting the wizard.
Yep, I agree. Even though, well, he does have a stripper too, but then dump off. But then again, dump off is garbage. So like, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you get into spot, he has pass. So if if you blitz someone the ball carrier, if you get a sack, it's usually just blitzing piece because you don't usually get assists in. And then it's just a 3+ with a reroll, which is pretty likely to happen.
The throw isn't the hard part though. It's the catch easily. Because let's say this guy has like a somewhat loose cage. What you do if you're the Necro is you like mark everyone in this like loose cage by like 1 or 2 people. Then you blitz the ball, but then you have dump off, and you're probably going to make the throw unless you 1 in 9. But then it's a 3+ catch or a 4+ catch with no reroll.
Yeah, but you usually can't take everything, especially the line behind them.
But it's a short pass, right? So you can only throw like 4 squares, 5 squares.
Yeah, but you have to, usually in most cases you have to walk around like left or right side. And you can't take like the people in the opposite side in the back. You are there to block up the other side, because usually you don't get around taking them because you have zombies and flesh golems at movement 4, and you can only use one werewolf because the other one is usually the one splitzing. So I don't think there's a world where you can take all pieces. So I think the pass, the dump off, is quite likely to happen with 3+ with reroll and a 2+ to catch.
Alright. Well, let's see where you're coming from. We'll have to wait and see, really. What's gonna really happen, let's be honest, is that the dump off is going to be intercepted. If that's even possible. Is it?
Yeah, the dump off can be intercepted.
Yeah, so that's totally what's going to happen. remember to tell us when that does happen, El Dudorino, and we'll make it the play of the week. Anyways, I kind of have my money. Well, I don't know who I want to have my money on. One side of me tells me, elves all the way. This elf team is good, and this necro team is fine. But then again, yeah, it's probably the dark elves. Let's be honest here. Dark elves are gonna take
I'm
this.
putting my money on the necro.
Fair. Next up we have the I think this is the Eldritch Ambrosia runners versus Mazdamundis Heirs.
Yes.
As I'm desperately trying to make sure I'm not, showing the wrong teams here. Would be great if we were talking about like Mazdamundis Heirs, and in reality it was like the Nagarythe Nightstalkers that was on screen. Alright, pray for the recording software to work. Eldritch Ambrosia runners versus Mazdamundis Heirs. This is 1410 Underworld versus 1530 Saurus, guys. Yes.
And I'm putting my money on the Underworld because the Lizard Man missing the Jackal Mighty Blow, which is huge.
Yes.
And I mean the other Underworld missing the Jackal Mighty Blow as well, but they have a full killer with horns. Even he can easily blitz the Saurus, and with Claw Mighty Blow piling on, and tackle even if he needs to blitz Skings.
Yes.
So I think Willpox will make the game in the favor of the Underworld, and also the Troll having Claw Mighty Blow helps out a lot as well.
I would definitely agree. I think the Saurus are in for a can opening as they face a bunch of Claw, and with no tackle. Although, yeah, no, I don't really see a universe where the Saurus win this, unless something crazy happens. In which case, call me. But yeah, I think the Underworld definitely good time. They even have inducements. They can get a wizard, So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I'm putting my money on the Underworld for sure.
Next we have, this is the ASCII Rats versus Essinge Howlers. ASCII Rats. ASCII Rats are winning this.
Here you go.
Basically because, I mean, well, Missa is 2-1-0. It's not a perfect record, so there's a world where they lose this. But I don't really imagine that's going to really happen. They have this one killer. The orcs, that is. They have this one impressive killer, which if it removes like every turn rat, then yeah, you're going to be in a bad spot. But the rats just have the one turner. They have the recovery. I mean, the stripper won't do too much because, well, he might do something, but they do have sure hands, so you're stuck relying on wrestle. So it's a 4+ sack with a 1 dice. It's fine, I guess, but
I think with Chronic being able to get tackle if he wants to, and the Reds being a 13 players, I think the Orcs can win if they get the removals going, and maybe even being able to remove the one turner early, but it will be a really tough one. And it can go either way, but I think for the Orcs, if they want to win it, they have to get the casualty game going for them.
But then again, don't focus too much on the casualty game, because if it doesn't work out, you're stuck. So
yeah, sure, better cut.
Yeah, there's a good chance. I mean, I say good chance. There's a chance that the Orcs win this, but maybe I have too much faith in the rats here. Maybe.
It can go either way, really.
Next up, another rat team. It's not for the cat versus the Nagarythe Nightstalkers. And this is kind of interesting because Nagarythe Nightstalkers are missing one of their best pieces, the ASCII dodge guard piece, which is real sad. But they still have some other things going. This is a team that doesn't rely too much on one player. This is a team that has a bunch of solid players. So even though the guard is out, he still has another one. So I think it's fine in that respect. And not for the cat is, I mean, he has a rat team, which means it's good. But then again, he doesn't have the optimal rat team, if you ask me, because of some odd level up choices. So I think the combination of the mass tackle and the mighty blow on the witch, combined with stuff like guard, means that the Nagarythe Nightstalkers could easily win the bash game.
Yeah, and also not having block on two gutters, the thrower, and some Linos means I think the witch will do tons of work here, and I'm also favoring the Dark Elves.
Yep. Um. Yeah. Basically, it's gonna be an interesting match, I think. But yeah, Dark Elves. Dark Elves, Dark Elves. Then we have only Foals and Hobgoblins versus Heavy Hitters version 2.0. There we go. I mean, the dwarves are they're missing two players, which is kind of big for dwarves because you really want those players. Though luckily, one of the missing players is only a Longbeard. But yeah, I mean dwarves. I mean, do they even have a bad matchup against dwarves? I'm not sure.
Are they missing a player? Because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Longbeards, and none of them is MNG.
MNG. They have two MNG Longbeards.
No, I don't.
They do though, don't they?
Ah, they just played.
Oh, what did they get? What was the result?
The heavy hitters won 2 and 1.
All right, interesting. Well, ignore us.
I actually would have favored the Chaos Dwarfs there because
I
of
would have
the
totally
claw
favored the dwarves. I think the dwarves would have
and the
won 2-1.
strength advantage. Yeah.
Uh, totally. Yeah. I knew that would happen. Yeah. So that's interesting that they played like right now. So I guess we'll move on awkwardly. Breaknec Rampage versus Smart Models. Here we go.
Like two of the highest TV teams in this division.
Yeah. Doesn't say too much though, because they're barely over 1700, like
Yeah,
even the
sure.
highest ones. So we do have. Please shut up, Tim. Why did I not turn off the commentators? Hold up. You know what? Whatever. We'll roll with it. Yeah, very professional of me. Right. Eldar versus Breaknec Rampage. Breaknec Rampage has an insane team because of. I mean, he has agi, he has movement, he has strength. Although the agi is on a white, which is I've had a agi white before. It is garbage. Huge waste of TV.
Yeah, it can sometimes be useful to get mobile guards, but he has it on the killer,
Doesn't have guard.
and you really want to blitz with the werewolf
Yep.
because he's the one with claw. So yeah, I think the edgy, at least in this matchup, is a bit of a bloat here.
And the Eldar is a lot more TV efficient, so there's basically no inducement unless Okim is willing to scum a bribe. Well, it's not really even scum if you spend 20k on it. He has 150k. But I think the claw will do a number on these necro. Although, well, the necro have claw mighty blow too.
Yeah,
But I
but
think they might struggle because of so much guard. They might struggle getting them 2 dice against the Chorf blockers.
also having two ghouls will be pretty tough for him
Oh,
because
yeah.
Ola has a bull centaur with tackle and mighty blow and break tackle, so he really has to be careful with using his ghouls in this matchup.
It's going to be a game of cat and mouse with that bull centaur trying to chase those ghouls around the place, methinks.
Yeah.
I think Eldar has a great chance. Although I think the Necro will definitely put up a fight at the very least. So yeah, my money is on Eldar and his chirps here.
Yeah, same.
The last of the predictions and stuff. Tooth Coats versus Hogwarts Exiles. Tooth Coats is missing two of arguably their best players. No Mighty Blow or Tackle, which really sucks for him when you're playing against a team like Underworld, and also no proper ball carrier, which is really
Yeah.
sad. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean the Underworld have done surprisingly well. They are at the upper parts of the leaderboard, so I think the Underworld have this. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, those are the TV ranges where Underworld really shines, especially against teams with no bench. Underworld is really, really good because they can foul with their cheap combos.
yep.
So I'm favoring the Underworld here as well.
Wood elves are pretty. I mean, they're elves, and the most elfy elves, arguably. So they can definitely pull something out of thin air here. But I think the underworld have this.
Yep,
All right,
totally agree.
fantastic. I guess let's take a quick look at the leaderboard. Will be interesting to take a look there. Uh, Actually, we see a very shared first place with no less than 5 teams having the same record, which is impressive. Um, we see the Wood Elves, the Lizardmen, Tooth Coats, Mazdamundis Heirs, Hogwarts Exiles, Smart Moles, and Missa. I think we sort of expected these teams to be up here, especially Missa, stuff like Eldar, and I definitely predicted that the Wood Elves would do well. But I'm sort of surprised to see the Underworld Denizens up here. That was well done, Priswolfa. That is quite impressive. And the Lizardmen, too. Although they do
and
have a
and
solid team.
and Joppa breaking the draw streak.
Yeah, finally, right? Um, there's Forced on Dwarf Teknik is close behind, but the rest of the div is sort of far behind. You see a clear split here between 6th and 7th place. Let's take a quick look at the actual point difference. This is on my off screen. There's a point difference of. Hold up. Yeah, 201 is actually the same points as 130, which is interesting. But yeah, this is close in the top half of the division, but then you have the lower part of the division, which is very much less close. So, I mean, unless you have anything else to note, I think that's us for today. We finally managed
Yep.
to do the recap. Worry not, if all goes to plan, we'll have another recap next week. But I think that's all for us today.
Yes, indeed.
See y'all next week.
Yeah, see you guys.